You're scrolling through social media, watching someone effortlessly excel at their craft. Maybe it's a musician playing a flawless piece, an athlete making impossible shots, or an entrepreneur building million-dollar companies. And you think to yourself, they're just naturally gifted. I could never do that. But what if I told you that everything you believe about natural talent is a lie? What if the most extraordinary achievements you've ever witnessed weren't born from genius, but from something much simpler, something you can start doing today? Let me tell you about a man named Joe DiMaggio. If you don't know baseball, that's okay. You're about to learn something that will change how you think about success forever. Joe DiMaggio achieved something that sounds impossible. He got a hit in 56 consecutive baseball games. To put this in perspective, it's been 75 years since he set this record. And despite all the advances in training, nutrition, and sports science, no one has even come close to breaking it. But here's what made Joe truly legendary. It wasn't just that he succeeded, it was how he succeeded. While other players would grunt, strain, and struggle at the plate, Joe's batting looked completely effortless. Like he was born to do it. Like it was as natural as breathing. Naturally, people assumed he was just gifted, a genetic anomaly. Someone who had cracked the code of baseball through pure talent. One day, a seasoned 50-year-old sports reporter decided to get to the bottom of this mystery. He approached Joe after a game and asked the question that was on everyone's mind. Joe, how do you feel when people say you're naturally talented, when they look at your effortless performance and assume you were just born different? What's your secret? Joe took a deep breath. The question clearly struck a nerve, but instead of giving a typical athlete's response, he said something unexpected. Let me show you something. The reporter thought he might share some philosophical insight or reveal a special technique. He had no idea he was about to witness something that would completely shatter his understanding of greatness. Joe led the reporter down to his basement, not to his trophy room or his memorabilia collection, but to what looked like an ordinary practice space. This is where the magic happens, Joe said. But there was no arrogance in his voice, only quiet determination. Joe began demonstrating his practice routine. He showed how he worked on different types of pitches, fastballs, curveballs, sliders. He explained his footwork, his stance, his swing mechanics. The routine was methodical, repetitive, and frankly, the reporter watched, trying to hide his disappointment. This wasn't the secret he was expecting. It was just practice. Lots and lots of practice. But then Joe did something that made the reporter's jaw drop. He picked up a piece of chalk and drew a single line on the basement wall. Then he turned on a brighter light. The wall exploded with thousands upon thousands of chalk marks, line after line after line, covering every inch of the wall like a museum of dedication. Please, Joe said quietly, don't call me a natural hitter anymore. Joe explained his system. Every single day for 17 years, he had come down to this basement. Every practice session earned a chalk mark. When the walls filled up completely, he would clean them and start over. This was on a routine he invented himself. It was something his father had taught him as a young boy. A simple system of visual accountability that transformed an ordinary kid into a baseball legend. The effortless performance you see on the field, Joe explained, is the result of extraordinary effort you never see. Each of those chalk marks represents a day I chose to show up, especially when I didn't feel like it. Here's what Joe DiMaggio understood that most people don't. Consistency beats intensity. Daily practice beats periodic perfection. And visual accountability, seeing your progress literally marked on the wall, creates a momentum that becomes unstoppable. The next time you see someone achieving something extraordinary, don't assume they're just naturally gifted. Look for their basement, look for their chalk marks, look for the daily disciplines that nobody else sees. Because the truth is, your effortless breakthrough is just 17 years of chalk marks away. The question isn't whether you have natural talent. The question is, are you willing to pick up the chalk